Hey there, and welcome back to Wirex Podcast. Today, we're exploring something pretty exciting: how Mexico is using blockchain to shake up the way legal disputes are resolved. We're joined by Maria Castillo, the founder and CEO of Peacekeepers, a pioneering dispute resolution system for blockchain. Welcome, Maria.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation.
So excited to dig in. But before we do that, can you please tell us about your professional background and how you got to where you are?
Yes, of course. I am a lawyer. I am from Mexico. And well, everything really started in the pandemic. I had a law firm, and this law firm unfortunately went almost bankrupt because, well, I didn't have enough clients anymore. So I started to change my career, actually. I thought one of my dreams from forever was going to cybersecurity. So I started learning cybersecurity, and I was about to change my career into cybersecurity until I found out about blockchain and started to learn about it, and to specifically learn about smart contracts. And once I started learning more, I realized that this was going to be the future for law. So I went to be a legal counsel for a few blockchain projects. And this is where I found out that there was really not a way into dispute resolution in these blockchain disputes. And I thought about a way into having mediation into blockchain. And then I went into a hackathon with Chainlink, and there's where I met my now co-founder, and that's how we started. Just with that idea of mediation, and now I'm very, very happy that it is much more than that. But yeah, that's a little bit of my journey into how Peacekeepers was created.
I really love that story, from law to then, blockchain, mediation, right? So, what's actually happening in Mexico? What's this new blockchain law or move that everyone's been talking about?
Yes, it is actually super interesting because right now, I mean, up to now, when you had any dispute through blockchain, through Peacekeepers or any other dispute resolution system, these resolutions weren't legally binding, meaning that you couldn't do much with them. There was no real enforceability, and a lot of people just went away with a lot of things. But now, the good thing with this new law is that you can have dispute resolution through platforms with blockchain disputes, and they are legally binding. Like the resolutions that you have, they can be enforceable through the Mexican government and the Mexican justice system. So meaning that they're equal to a judge resolution.
Wow, that's a really big move. And before we dive into the tech, how were the disputes usually handled in Mexico? Is it courtrooms, lawyers, the whole thing?
Yes, yes, definitely. Actually, Mexico is very traditional in that way, and also we don't use we use civil law and not common law. So there's a lot of things that are still in writing, and we don't talk much in courts. Right now, there's been some things that now you can. It is more expedite. It is faster, but it is still very traditional. And unfortunately, it is also a little bit, well, not a little bit, it is quite corrupt. And right now, we have a very big crisis in the judicial system in Mexico. The government is changing the ways of how judges are selected to be judges. Before it was through an exam, and right now it is going to be through elections. Like the people are going to vote for the people that they want for judges, and in theory, that sounds really good. But unfortunately, there's even more of a way of corruption if that happens, because let's say that I know somebody that is running for judge, and I go, and if I have money, I can go and say, hey, I will give you money for your campaign. But obviously, if you get into the position, I'm gonna have like some privileges afterwards. And yeah, it's been crazy, to be honest. This voting is going to happen in June, and so this law is actually coming in the most amazing time. And actually, even the mediation and arbitration uh, was not possible in a private way in Mexico. That means that you only could go to government stages to have this. So there was no like, oh, okay, let's go through a private thing and have an agreement. I mean, you could do that, but it was just another contract. It wasn't an actual ruling that you needed to actually execute. So right now, this new law allows to have this in a private way, and you don't have to go through the judicial system anymore through to Mexico.
Wow, that's really interesting, Uh, so now with this blockchain approach, what kind of disputes are we talking about? Is it just crypto stuff or wider than that? And how is it going to affect, the dynamics of traditional law and on the blockchain, really?
Oh, it is going to be really amazing. It is going to be super disruptive because it is about anything but criminal law. Criminal law is out of it. But anything else, like any contract, in e-commerce, in finance, in anything, uh, it is allowed to have these disputes. And the good thing also is that by any contract, it's really any, like in even like a divorce or anything like that. So it is truly amazing, to be honest. Everything is up to it, unless it is criminal law.
Wow, that's a real advancement, I think, and for someone who is new to this space, how can blockchain help solve a legal dispute? Maybe can you break it down for us? What's the magic here?
Yes, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of things that are really good. I mean, even just having it online, not even with blockchain, it is truly truly amazing. Because, like I said, Mexico, it was very traditional. Almost nothing was done via online. So now, just the fact that you can do it online, it is great. You can have mediation or arbitration. But the blockchain part of it is, well, for me, and I'm obviously kind of biased, but for me, is the best one. The best part, because you can have everything on the blockchain so it doesn't get erased. Because again, I go a little bit about the flaws of the judicial system here in Mexico. And a lot of times you go to court and then you realize that your files have been lost, magically lost. So that won't happen with blockchain because, well, for the people that don't know, in blockchain you can't erase things and you can change them. You can't modify them once they are on the blockchain. So that is really powerful when it comes to law because then any contract that you sign, any resolution that you have, everything will stay there and it will stay there forever. It doesn't even matter if, for example, for some weird reason, peacekeepers will cease to exist. It doesn't matter. Everything will stay on the blockchain no matter what. And that is, for me, that is amazing. And one of the also amazing things is that you get automation in a lot of things. So, for example, for people in finance or e-commerce, this is amazing because the law accepts that everything can happen automatically. So let's say, like for e-commerce, you buy something and maybe this thing that you bought didn't arrive. Then the smart contract can actually detect that and create a resolution into that and say, okay, then the money has to go to the customer again because they didn't receive their item. But this resolution is not just going to be like something like, okay, yes, would you get a refund, right? But it is an actual resolution that it is going to be at the justice system here in Mexico. So that means if the person doesn't get a refund, then you can actually uh, enforce it. Like said to the Mexican justice system, like, hey, I didn't receive my refund. So you go and you make that person do it. But instead of going to court and say why you had a refund, etc., you just have to say, just make this person pay me. So that is, I mean, you are going to be able uh, to not have a a process that it is expensive and it is like very, very long in many, many ways. So everything will be better.
Wow. So, maybe if you can unpack it a little bit more. So, in terms of enforcement, right? Because, for example, using the example that you've just given, you know, we go to, uh, where do we go to say that they haven't paid, for
Oh,
example?
for that, yes, for that you will have to go to the court. But
Right.
that means, yes, that the first instance, all of these first instances, you do it through the platform. So
Right.
that is the good thing about it. And in some cases, the authorities will have to do this automatically. Like you wouldn't have to actually say anything. But yes, I mean, it is going to be a little bit hybrid right now in terms of the execution of it.
Mhm.
But it is a good thing. And also in terms of arbitration, because Mexico has a lot of arbitration um, treaties signed with a lot of countries. That means that these arbitrations are also internationally binding. So that means that other countries will have to accept these rulings that we have uh, in the platform.
Wow, that's a huge move, right? Because so many times when there are disputes or whatever, and it's just really difficult to get any result, and the fact that it would be in terms of the arbitration, like internationally it will be accepted. I think that's a really big step. But so what if a blockchain ruling goes against someone? Can they appeal it, or is code law and that's it? What happens here?
Well, it depends actually on the resolution and the case, the contract that you sign. Okay, so let me give you an example. Let's say again the e-commerce because I think it is very easy to understand. Let's say that this e-commerce, like anything like Amazon, has their dispute resolution through peacekeepers. So you go, you have your resolution through peacekeepers. And maybe for Amazon, it is not mm, convenient that after maybe some mediation, because also we have mediation, so maybe just a conversation and an agreement between the parties. But if it is more automatic, let's say that you have a resolution, you don't have the resolution to be like an appealing um, endlessly. So maybe you do. Amazon will say, okay, yes, I want that you can have one appealing, for example, or that this resolution goes to arbitration and it is the only one. And that actually happens a lot in international arbitration, that the ruling is just it and you can't do anything about it. So it is not new that you can't appeal it. But in other cases, maybe another company will say that you can actually appeal. And Peacekeepers allows you to appeal, but it depends on the contract for each company or each thing that you have. So, for example, let's say that you have another contract, a rent contract for a house. And then, usually, when you have a contract, you have to say in the dispute resolution clause, like, what do you want? So you say, okay, I want this, if anything arises in this contract that maybe the person didn't pay or whatever, then you put there that you want peacekeepers to handle it. And also, you can say that you can have an appealing, that you want to have mediation first, that maybe you want to go to arbitration later after the mediation if it fails. And all of these rules are going to be in each contract. So that's why it is case based. But you can also put there that you can have an appealing for the ruling of the arbitration if you want to. It really depends on each case.
So, and then what if like the blockchain says one thing, but the real world court says another? Has it ever happened that way? Um, and who wins in this fight?
Okay. I mean, right now, because it is very new, that could happen. So probably this will be a little bit of a tricky situation and more of a what happened first. uh, and yes, I mean it is a tricky situation. It haven't happened right now, but I can see that maybe that will in a certain ways right now that it is very new. But once it is more established, I don't think that will happen because if you say in your contract that you are going to have these in peacekeepers and you are going to have this blockchain resolution, that is the only resolution that is going to be accepted. You even if you then go to a court and the court didn't know, but the court is going to know about it because once we have a resolution at peacekeepers, we have to send that resolution to the court system. They are going to have an archive of these resolutions. So, I mean, in theory, they are going to be able to tell that you already have a ruling with this. But let's say that for some reason it goes to a normal court and you start the process and everything, the person that will lose obviously is going to say, hey, I already had this. So that court, the court ruling, it is going to be non-biased. I mean, it is going to be illegal pretty much because it has a priority, the first one, and also the one that you already agreed on the contract. So if the contract says it is through peacekeepers and you already have a ruling from peacekeepers, then that's it. You can't go through a normal processing anymore.
Wow. And also, it makes me think about how, moving forward, the contract has got to be really watertight, right? Just to ensure that, they've got everything covered. Do you think Mexico is ahead of the curve here, or are there any countries doing similar things? And what do you think the adoption would be in other countries?
Oh, we are definitely ahead. I mean, I am so proud. uh,
Amazing.
yes, it is amazing. I mean, Mexico is really ahead of everybody. We don't have this in any other country. And I don't even know why, but not a lot of people is talking about it. I mean, I've been really talking about it and all, but not a lot of people seems to even understand the how huge this is. Not even lawyers. I mean, everybody's still with regulations and MICA and regulations with in the US and everything, but nobody's looking into Mexico or Latin America. And we are doing some really amazing things. And yes, Mexico is definitely ahead on this. And I really hope that other countries are willing to do this. And I think once Mexico has this in a better adoption phase, because obviously it is starting. I mean, peacekeepers here in Mexico is going to start operations probably in about a month. So it is very, very, very new. We are going to be very proudly, I can say it, we are going to be the first platform that is going to do blockchain resolutions in Mexico. So this is, yeah, this is very new. We are going to see about the adoption, but I know that people are going to use it a lot. I really know it because it gives you confidence that you are going to have a fair resolution instead of going to court and knowing that maybe your judge is corrupt, maybe even your lawyer is corrupt or anything else. So this will really change everything here in Mexico, and I know that it can change a lot in other countries.
Yeah, I believe it will definitely change. And it would be such a big difference, right? But I'm also just wondering, how will this or will this be applicable to, maybe social justice or environmental justice, climate justice? Do you know what I mean? How does this affect, that whole system, in the long run?
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, for criminal law is very difficult. I don't think that is going to change soon, but maybe someday, right? Because criminal law is very, it is another topic. It is very difficult. Maybe one aspect of it, like cybersecurity, like hackings and things like that, could be done through peacekeepers in the future. But right now, yes, it is more about uh, contracts and
Mhm.
payments. Uh, I don't know, any dispute that you could have a contract through it, but that is a lot.
Mm.
And through the social, let's say, for example, we are already thinking that we are going to have a mediation also through the native languages here in Mexico, so not just Spanish, and that people are going to. So that means that for people that live in remote um, villages can actually access it just with if they have a cell phone. Or many times these communities have like one computer, for example, that works for everybody, and they can actually go through with that computer and have these resolutions to happen in there because let's say there's a lot of things, for example, when people lose their houses, their real estate, and that happens a lot in villages that suddenly you see somebody in your house and you lose your house, and things like that are going to be able to have a ruling through peacekeepers and through the actual language of these people, that it is not Spanish. And also, once we have because we are going to have an AI, I think it is going to help with how fast it goes. And for socials, also, let's say, for example, in family law, because family law can also be done through peacekeepers. Let's say that you are having a divorce, and in this divorce, maybe you are experiencing violence. So many times, if you go to court, you have to face the person that is abusing you, right? So with this, you don't have to. You can actually do everything online, and you can make it as fast as possible. That is way better to protect people that have been abused in a divorce case, for example, or any family matter. So that is really good.
Wow, it's really amazing, and my mind is just going so many different places, right? Because this could mean so much to contribute to ending gender-based violence, for example, like, as you were saying, with abusive divorces and stuff, and yeah, it's really mind-blowing, and I'm still in awe, right?
Yes, I mean, me too. When I read that law, I was in awe too.
It's really like pinch me, and I feel like, there should be peacekeepers in every country, you know, because I think that's the way forward, right? And then also fast forward to, 5 to 10 years, and I know you were talking about divorces, but what about job contracts, or even, you know, little things like parking tickets, you know?
Yes, I mean, everything can be done. The good thing, I mean, the amazing thing is that actually, in a month, once peacekeepers start, you can start with that right away. I mean, if you want to get a divorce through peacekeepers, you can actually do it. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
tickets. If you have a contract with a company, also any type of contract.
Wow. And, just thinking through about divorces as well, because I've heard through friends, who are going through divorces, that, it's really expensive and it takes a long time. And especially when you've got children involved, it does, when it gets dragged out, it really affects the children's mental health, right? And plus, the people who are getting divorced as well. And I think this will really, really change the landscape in how we do things, It's really amazing. Maria, thanks again for sharing your story and what Peacekeepers is building. It's amazing. We loved having you on. And thank you so much again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It was really nice. It was great to speak about this. I am incredibly happy for the future of it and how we can actually help people and change everything through about the justice system here in Mexico, and hopefully in the future in the world.
Yep. Mexico today, tomorrow the world.
Yes, exactly.
And to everyone listening, make sure you're following the Wirex Podcast. We've got more great episodes coming your way soon.